This is a story from Washington Examiner where Eleanor Holmes says, you don't have a right to know what's going on in the government. Sort of jumping from our last video where a police officer in California was asserting that the people who were filming him have no right, that they have to step back if the police officer says the crime scene is 20 feet in radius or is 2,000 feet in radius. You gotta step back. I own you. Well, Miss Norton thinks the same way. Here's a clip from Miss Norton this week from Oversight and Reform. This video got almost 200,000 views in just the last 4 days. Take a look.
You don't have a right to know everything in a separation of powers government, my friend. That is the difference between a parliamentary government and a separation of powers government.
Wow, is it? Is that the difference? Here, let's play that again. I mean, come on.
You don't have a right to know everything in a separation of powers government, my friend. That is the difference between a parliamentary government and a separation of powers government.
I don't know, Miss Holmes Norton. Eleanor Holmes Norton, the non-voting congressional delegate for the District of Columbia, angrily sputtered during a congressional hearing Friday that the White House should not be held up to the scrutiny, saying there was no right to know what's going on behind closed doors. Quote, you don't have a right to know everything in a separation of powers government, my friend. That is the difference between a parliamentary government and a separation of powers government. Is it? I don't think so. It was, to put mildly, a significant departure from the more traditional liberal stance that openness and transparency are a must to prevent abuses of power by government officials. Instead, the leading advocate for statehood for the District of Columbia literally argued that even the congressional committee charged with oversight shouldn't be asking questions in the first place. Doesn't something sound wrong about that? She made the comments while protesting the committee's Republican majority for voting to ignore a claim by the White House that David Simas, director of its Office of Political Strategy and Outreach, was immune to a congressional subpoena to testify. Republicans believe the office is being used as a political campaign operation, a violation of federal election law. Okay, so here's a guy. The claim is this David Simas is using his office at the White House as a campaigning operation. That's a pretty serious charge. So the Oversight Committee should be able to subpoena him and ask for more information. But oh no! The Republican majority decided they're going to ignore the claim. And somehow, this politician agrees. Could it be that they all look out for one another? We'll be right back. This is Peace News Now.